Hello everyone and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Christina Huseman and I'm a doTERRA Elite Wellness Advocate, and this is just a short Wellness Wednesday video on doTERRA oils and supplements, just as educational purposes for you. So if you are new, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Adaptiv Calming Blend. It's a system that's like a toolbox for helping the body and the mind balance some of life's most stressful moments. This system can really help you manage stress and anxiety and anxious feelings. And so I'm going to dive into what this system is, the different components of it, as well as some of the science behind it. Now, I will tell you, let me move this one thing off my screen. I will tell you that there are there's some science that I cannot get into for this blend, and that's because I just don't have enough time in the day or the ability to show you some of the slides that you would need to see to really understand it. So this is going to be a broad overview, and if you are interested in more of the science, you can always message me and I can send you those clinical studies and the trials, or you can look them up yourself on doTERRA.com, or on YouTube you can search doTERRA's convention and put in the Adaptiv Calming Blend, and you can look at all the research that's been done on this particular blend. So without any further ado, let's get started. We are going to talk about the world we live in and why we need essential oils and things to really help support us. We live in a world where we know what we want, and we want it now. We want it instantly, right? We spend too much time on our smartphones, on our laptops, without ever giving ourselves a break from work. Often we associate success with working more, taking less breaks, and that pulls us away from our connections with our family, with our friends. We miss out on those opportunities. And often we're just exhausted. We find ourselves experiencing more headaches, maybe trouble sleeping, or you lay awake at night and can't even get to sleep. Maybe you have a lack of energy or decreased productivity despite working all the time. All of those are signs of stress, and we all deal with stress in different ways. I know for myself, I internalize a lot of it, but there are telltale signs, and you know what those signs are for you. We know that having a very healthy lifestyle can help minimize and reduce the effects of stress. And what I want to do, just leading in and building the groundwork for the Adaptiv Calming Blend, is kind of give you Dr. Hill's protocol. He's one of doTERRA's founders. His protocol for overall mental wellness. And I've talked about some of his protocol before on my Wellness Wednesday videos. So foundationally, you need the Lifelong Vitality Pack. That is a pack of 3 supplements that have really been researched and put together to help support your body overall. They really help support all the body systems, as well as give your body the vitamins and nutrients that it needs to function on a daily basis. Then you're going to supplement with the Serenity Soft Gels for restful sleep. Those you would take at night. And you might say, I already have sleep under wraps, Christina. I don't need any help there. But the key point here is that you're getting restful sleep. Sleep in itself is not beneficial unless you're getting that good REM sleep where your body can really relax, really repair itself, and all your body systems can kind of recharge and reset, ready for the next day. Then use the Adaptiv Calming Blend capsules, which I'm going to talk about. They look like this. 1 a day, either in the morning with food or throughout the day. I just recommend taking it with food because it is a capsule so that your body will take it and use it. But using it for your mental wellness. And I'm going to dive into the different components of the Adaptiv Blend that really give it that significance of supporting your overall mental wellness. Then we know, if you're following a good lifestyle pyramid, that you really need to move your body. You need to get some exercise for your body systems to really function and work properly. We know that you have essential oils to support that. So you have the Deep Blue Soothing Blend, either in the oil or the rub form. You can use that. You can use oils like wintergreen and spearmint and marjoram, lemongrass to really help support your muscles and your joints. And then another aspect of a overall wellness is your energy level. If your energy or your adrenals are struggling, then I really encourage you to try using the Mito 2 Max, which is the energy and stamina complex. It uses natural energy, your body's own storehouse of energy. It's not a stimulant, it's not caffeine, none of that, but it helps to boost and sustain energy throughout the day. You can also use oils like peppermint, the Motivate blend, as well as wild orange to help kind of boost your energy level. All of those factors, all of those different categories go into play when we're talking about overall mental wellness. You're going to want to have that foundation. Your diet, you're going to want to make sure that the diet you're eating is really fueling your body, really acting as medicine to work from the inside out, that you're not putting junk in. You're going to want to have that foundational support for the Lifelong Vitality Pack and getting the vitamins and minerals your body needs. You're going to want to move your body so that it can just have the flexibility and the energy that it needs. And then you're also going to want to support your mind with the adaptive, soothing, and calming capsules. So let's dive into those. The science of mental wellness includes about 5 factors, and I want to talk about those briefly. You have your neurological factors, you have chemistry, behaviors, thoughts, and emotions. Now, I'll tell you, I want to talk about them briefly for the simple fact that many of you know I used to be a parole officer for several years, and then for a few years in there I was a probation officer, and I've been an undercover officer, and so I have really experienced this from on many levels. Myself experiencing just the stresses of life, and then because I have small children, I'm in a new area of stress. But I have also witnessed folks telling me that they just had something neurologically going on, that they had a chemical imbalance, that they didn't know why they did what they did. And so I wanted to point out those 5 kind of areas where the science of mental well-being takes place, because all 5 of those areas are real important and the science behind them is very important. So usually there are 2 scenarios that go into a stressful situation, or anxiety or anxious thoughts, depression, all of that. 2 kind of scenarios. The first is episodic. So there's a trigger, something happens. I'll break it down to layman's terms. Somebody pushes your buttons. So when that happens, a chemical response goes off in your brain. And then a physiological change happens, so a pathway is made in your brain, and that is to react. It reacts so that your body can go back to balance. So your mind, your emotions, everybody can go back to normal, right? There's also a second scenario, and that is a physiological imbalance. That's often what I experienced in my office, sitting across from a client, and they would tell me that they had a chemical imbalance and that folks just didn't understand them. They thought there's always this perception when it comes to anxiety, depression, to stress, to anxious thoughts, to just mental wellness, that you can just flip a switch or snap your fingers and all of a sudden you're back to normal, back to a healthy, functioning adult. And that is just not true. Sometimes there is a psychological imbalance, which means there's a chemical response going on in your brain, and then a physiological change happens. Again, another pathway is made, and that is to bring the body back into balance, back into homeostasis. And sometimes we just need a little extra or something to help us get there. You can't just flip a switch often. And so that is where the Adaptiv Calming Blend comes into play. Okay, so now that I've laid the groundwork for you, let's dive into the science. What I want to do is talk about the Adaptiv and how it contains some certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils, and I will tell you what those are in just a moment, but it also contains precise amounts of other naturally sourced compounds. And those naturally sourced compounds are going to help support emotional stability. They're going to help with calmness, and one of them is actually found in some of our diets, just not in very high amounts. So let's dive in. The oils that are in this blend, I'll show you again what the capsule blend looks like. There it is. The oils in the blend, again, these are certified pure therapeutic grade oils. Lavender, coriander, and wild orange and fennel are all in the Adaptiv Calming Blend capsules. Then you're also going to have Psyllium, GABA, G-A-B-A, and I'm going to talk about what that is, and ahi flower. Okay, all three of those are in there. Those are three important cofactors, and we're going to talk about each of them separately. And we're going to start with GABA. And you might say, what is GABA? GABA is gamma aminobutyric acid. What that is it's a neurotransmitter. So the cofactor I want you to remember is neurotransmitters. And when neurotransmitters in our brain are overstimulated, or if the neurons in our brain are overstimulated, that can lead to anxious feelings. And let me tell you why. This is for all you science folks out there. So the neurotransmitter GABA really helps facilitate communication within the brain, okay? So what it's going to do is specifically transfer information to other parts of our body, like the central nervous system specifically. And the primary function of GABA is to inhibit activity of cells in the brain and the central nervous system that are responsible for a wide spectrum of effects in our brain and our body. What that means is those neurotransmitters, they help with managing behavior. They help with influencing cognitive functions, so your thinking and your responses and your decision making, and they help with modulating your response to stress, so your actions, what you do in response to maybe that trigger where somebody's pushed your buttons, or that chemical imbalance, what you do in response to that. There's scientific evidence that supplementation with GABA may improve the biomarkers of calmness and overall health. And again, there's scientific evidence for that. You can look it up, or if you want it, you can shoot me a message and I can get it to you. But the Adaptiv Calming Blend capsules offer, they're an effective alternative. So they contain 100 milligrams of this naturally sourced GABA per capsule. GABA is actually in some of the foods that we eat, like in beans and nuts, but it has a very minimal concentration. So I said that it's one of the things that's in the foods you eat. You just don't quite get enough of it. So each capsule contains 100 milligrams of this naturally sourced GABA. And now, just a simple way to think about GABA when you're, if you're just sitting around talking to your friends and GABA comes up, is that it's the brakes of the brain. So when somebody does something and it just pushes your buttons, or something happens and you're about to go off, those brakes in your brain that just say, hang on one moment before you overreact or before you react, that is what GABA does. It inhibits those neurons from just letting loose. So, and those are very important, because overstimulation of those neurons, meaning if they're left unchecked, then you're just going to constantly be flying off, and maybe you feel agitated, irritated all the time. You yell, you go off, that kind of thing. That means that maybe those neurotransmitters are just a little bit unchecked. Maybe they're overstimulated, and so that is where this particular cofactor is going to come into play and going to help. Now let's talk about the second cofactor that is in this capsule blend, and that is alkaloids. And you might say, what are alkaloids? What I want you to remember about alkaloids is they support the body's ability to sustain serotonin and GABA. So it's going to help both your GABA, your neurotransmitters, and your serotonin levels. Now, specifically, alkaloids, let me get my notes out for you on what they are. But alkaloids are plant-derived chemicals that contain carbon and nitrogen, okay? And they often have pronounced effects on humans. I'm going to name off some that you may already be familiar with. Alkaloids are things like nicotine, morphine, and caffeine, and those have very well-known, prominent effects on the body. Alkaloids can either be very helpful or very dangerous. Some of those I just named off are very dangerous. However, one particular strand of alkaloid called zimbrin is very beneficial for the body in that it prevents an enzyme called PDE4 from working. And so that means it's going to help, it's going to prevent that particular enzyme, and it's going to help promote your respiratory, your cardiovascular, your nervous system health, and it helps boost one of the levels of your neurotransmitters, that being serotonin. And so that particular alkaloid, it's called zimbrin. It is sourced from South Africa, and it's a botanical that's extracted from a plant, and it's a succulent. So Psalidium is the name of it, and it's indigenous to South Africa, and there they call it Kanna, Kanna, but it supports healthy emotional responses to everyday stressors. It's going to promote feelings of happiness and well-being, and it's also going to help balance healthy levels of mood-stabilizing hormones and help improve that cognitive function. Now, I want to tell you historically what it was used for, because I just told you all the benefits you're going to get, and you may be thinking, oh, those are common benefits, but let me tell you really the reason behind why historically this plant's been used. In South Africa, indigenous cultures would source this plant, and they would dry it out and chew the extracts of it, or they would grind it up and include it in different teas, like hot teas that you would drink. And traditionally, it was used for a wide range of spiritual ceremonies. So they would use it for spiritual purposes or in the middle of spiritual ceremonies. But it was also customary for hunters to chew to combat fatigue, to relieve thirst and hunger, and it was also used to mentally prepare them for any stressful situations that may come up while they were out in the fields hunting. So it helps with all those different cognitive functions, as well as relieving fatigue, which has to do with your energy level and your adrenals, and then providing those mood modulating benefits. So that's a little history on the alkaloid that is included in the Adaptiv blend. Now, let's move on to the next cofactor, and that's an essential fatty acid. And you may be like, Christina, you've covered that before in the Lifelong Vitality with the omega-3, 6, and 9 complex. That's correct, I have. But it's important to note here that essential fatty acids are critical elements for supporting brain function and structure. So when doTERRA, the researchers and scientists of doTERRA were coming up with this particular product, they included ahi flower. And ahi flower is naturally wild. It's cultivated for its precious seeds, and those seeds are pressed so that they produce and really superior omega-rich healthy oil. And it's actually more quality-wise and quantity-wise, it's a healthier omega than any other seed oil. So I know you've heard of borage seed and flax seed oil. The ahi flower is actually the highest quality and quantity of essential oil that you can get for omegas. And those are important for having a positive effect on the reduction of anxious feelings. So if you are one that deals with anxiety or anxiousness and anxious feelings, this is in here for you. Also remember that our brain is 80% fatty acids, or fatty acids control about 80% of our brain. So this is really your brain food. It's going to help with that brain function and that brain structure. Now, the Adaptiv Capsules, one last thing that I want to mention about this particular system is this is designed to be a systemic pathway or systematic approach. It's really going to help heal from the inside out. So as you take one of these every day, it's really going to help provide that neurological and biochemical support that your body needs. So remember, I said that a lot of folks really say that it's not just a switch or, you know, snap your fingers and turn it off. There's a chemical imbalance. This is where this comes into play. The combination of those cofactors as well as the essential oils is really going to help heal from the inside out. Now let's talk about the oil blend that comes in this system as well, and I'm going to show you those. This is the Adaptiv in the 15 milliliter as well as in the 10 milliliter touch. Now this is a touch blend, which means it's been scientifically diluted with fractionated coconut oil to be safe for everyone in the family. And can I just say, my family has been using this since convention, and we absolutely love this blend. I can give testimony to the capsules and how they have helped just immediately make me feel calm and like I can handle whatever I need to do in that moment. The oil blend, we have used this for temper tantrums with both of our children, and I am talking within seconds. It immediately just diffuses the situation within seconds. So I can really give testament to both of these products. Now, I want you to think about the oil blend as being the limbic system approach. And the limbic system, I'm pointing right here to the top of my head, and that is because when you inhale, the scent of whatever you're inhaling goes right to your olfactory system or to your limbic system. That's the area of the brain that's responsible for memories and emotions, and emotional processes. So that's where you're going to get your behavior, your thoughts, your emotions. And during stressful situations, those can be off. So never underestimate the power of diffusing or inhaling inhaling an essential oil throughout the day, because it goes directly in through the olfactory system to the limbic system. Places you're going to want to apply the touch would be to the web of the hand, to the pulse point on the wrist. You can apply it to the shoulders, to the back of the neck, or the base of the brain, right there at the brain stem. You can apply the oil or the roller touch. The oil, I would recommend diffusing in your office or your home or in your car anytime that you are going into or experiencing a stressful situation. Diffuse the oil or apply the oil blend. Now, I want to dive into what oils are in here because doTERRA was not haphazard in choosing the oils for this blend. They didn't just throw all the oils in a hat and pull out different ones. A lot of science and research went into the oils that are in this blend. So let's talk about it. It's a blend of 8 of the certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils, and they can be used in a myriad of ways to promote emotional well-being. You will recognize some of the oils in this blend, but you may not recognize a few of them. So if you want to jot down the oils that are in this blend or take notes, then certainly do that. The first one is wild orange, and it's commonly used in a lot of oil blends to promote emotional well-being, and that's because it's very energizing and very uplifting, and it has a very calming aroma to it as well. The clinical research has shown that it has a high concentration of limonene, and when limonene is applied topically or diffused aromatically, it promotes a positive mood and supports a relaxing environment. So you can either use wild orange to kind of calm things down and promote that relaxing environment. It also helps boost serotonin levels, or you can diffuse it in the morning if you need a good energizing or uplifting boost. So it's a very versatile oil. Lavender, which we know is often the root of, or considered the root of modern aromatherapy, but there's been a significant amount of evidence to really support that it's very calming and relaxing to the mind and the body. There's been numerous human clinical trials that have validated the ability of lavender's aroma to improve your mood, to reduce feelings of anxiousness and stress, and to create that relaxful, peaceful environment. Now, the third oil in this blend is copaiba, and copaiba is an essential oil that has the highest known concentration of beta-caryophyllene. And you may say, well, why do I even need to know what beta-caryophyllene is? Well, that is the chemical component that gives copaiba such a huge spectrum of endless benefits, right? It has this great uplifting aroma to it, and research suggests that beta-caryophyllene helps folks abstain from unhealthy habits. So if you have some unhealthy habits going on, whether that's negative self-talk, whether that's some sort of habit, like physical habit that you do that's unhealthy, copaiba can really help you abstain from that. It is also a powerful antioxidant. It supports the immune and respiratory systems, and it is great for your skin when applied topically. Now, the fourth oil in this blend is spearmint. And spearmint is kind of, it gives you that good minty aroma, but it is high in the monoterpene called carvone. And you may wonder what carvone is and why do we need that? Essential oils that are high in carvone have an uplifting and arousing aroma. They're particularly beneficial to those that have an active lifestyle. So you may remember that spearmint is in the Children's Rescuer blend, and it's there for that reason. It really helps support that active lifestyle, and it's going to help uplift as it does it. Magnolia is another essential oil that is in this blend, and magnolia is one of the highest concentrations of linalool oil. And I've talked about linalool oil before because it is included in lavender. That is one of the chemical compositions of lavender. But magnolia has the highest concentration of it, which means it has many benefits when applied topically and when diffused aromatically. It can help promote a calm environment as well as promote feelings of relaxation. Now, rosemary is included in this oil blend, and you may be thinking, why rosemary? Rosemary has a very unique chemical composition. It actually has 3 monoterpenes that kind of create this real distinct aroma for rosemary. And clinical research has shown that increases feelings of alertness and focus. The clinical research shown that it helped reduce feelings of stress. Now, I don't think I need to say anything more about rosemary other than I need to reduce some feelings of stress, right? Now let's talk about the 7th oil that is in this oil blend, and I think this is really the jewel in this blend, but that's just my personal feelings. Neroli, and neroli is very unique in that it is a mood modulating essential oil. It's really rich in linalool oil as well as linolyl acetate. So what that means is you're really going to get those feelings of calmness that you would get from lavender and from magnolia. But the thing is, neroli is sourced from a citrus tree. Who would have thought, right? So it's going to have very significant concentration of limonene, and we know that oils that have limonene are usually our citrus oils, so those things are really uplifting and energizing, right? So you're really getting the best of both worlds with neroli. You're getting those feelings of calmness, yet being able to be energized and uplifted as well. And then the 8th essential oil in this blend is sweet gum. So liquidumbar, or more commonly referred to as sweet gum, is actually a resinous sap. And so it's a sap that when it is distilled produces an essential oil. And that essential oil has a wide spectrum of benefits. It has a very unique aroma, so it's going to give you kind of this pine or floral or spicy kind of blends all 3 of those. But it is primarily known to help promote a calm and restful environment. And it is great when applied topically as well. So we all have our own unique emotional needs. And essential oils are a convenient and very effective tool for improving our emotional well-being. And this toolbox with the 3, the capsule, the 15 milliliter oil for diffusing or applying, and the touch blend it's just so convenient you can take with you and use, are really great for helping to kind of reduce stress, for manage anxiety, for just helping you really manage all of life's stressful moments, whether that's from your body, from a very neurological standpoint, or your mind from a very emotional, behavioral, and thought process standpoint. Now, I always say everybody is different. We're all uniquely made, and experimentation is really the best way to know if the oil is going to work for you. Oils affect each of us a little bit differently, and you may be drawn to one that I'm not drawn to, or I may be drawn to one that you're not drawn to. So I really encourage you to get this system and to try it out for yourself. Use it in all three of the methods and see what works best for you. This system will be available October 1st, so next Tuesday you can look for that for purchase, and you can purchase them individually or as an entire system and use all three together. But the important thing to remember about the Adaptiv Blend is that it a lot of research, a lot of scientific and clinical research went into this blend. There were clinical trials done, and I was able to see the results of some of those, hear from the scientists that worked on this blend, and I can tell you it's had a profound impact on Mark and I and on our children, and I'm just excited for this to be kind of our go-to to promoting that soothing and uplifting feeling and just helping us get through the day and manage some of those stresses that we just needed that little something extra to help us. So if you have any questions about the Adaptiv Blend, and again, I call this kind of my toolbox for that emotional and stressful and anxious feeling support. So if you have any questions about this toolbox or this system, post it in the comments, or you can send me a direct message or a text, and I'll answer that, and I'll get you any information that you need. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that you will consider using Adaptiv in your life to help manage some of those stressful situations, whether you choose to use the capsules or to diffuse the oil blend. It smells amazing, and it works almost instantly when applied topically. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, again, post them in the comments. I have lots of classes coming up, and if you want an invite to those classes or need the list of the schedule, then just message me and I can get that to you. I hope you all have a great Wednesday, and thank you for watching.